Hi everyone, I'm Matthew Moniz, and this is the second generation Alienware Steam Machine, a dedicated gaming console that's meant to sit in your living room instead of on a desk like a traditional PC. Now, it doesn't run Windows, but it uses Valve's SteamOS, which is based off of Linux. Valve has over 1,200 SteamOS titles to choose from, or a total of 4,500 that can be streamed from another computer running Windows. So the big question, is the Steam Machine worth it? Let's find out. So the Steam Machine is smaller than a PlayStation or Xbox One, which is great because it will blend in with your home entertainment system. It kind of reminds me of Intel's NUC with its boxy design, but with a little more character. On the top, there's these lines that span in every direction, and the sides are glossy that reflect its surroundings. The front corner looks like someone chopped it off with a sword, then branded it with the Steam logo. Speaking of logos, the Alienware head doubles as a power button and lights up when you turn the system on. In terms of ports, you have two USB 2.0 ports on the front, and on the back you have your power input, one HDMI in, one HDMI out, one RJ45 connection, two USB 3.0 ports, and a SPDIF port. However, if you flip it on its back, there's a compartment, and inside is one more USB 2.0 port, but that's used for the game controller's wireless receiver. Opening it up is quite easy. There's only 4 screws to take out. On the bottom, you have access to the replaceable M2 SATA hard drive, and flipping it over, you can see the GPU, CPU, and RAM. Now, there's only one RAM module, so the most you can have in here is 8 gigabytes, as I don't think the motherboard supports 16. In terms of specs, my review unit comes with an Intel i7 6700T Skylake CPU, 8 gigabytes of RAM, a 1 terabyte 7200 RPM hard drive, and a GTX 960 GPU. This is the most expensive configuration, with the only difference being whether you want 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM or an i3, i5, or i7 processor. The Steam Machine retails for $450 US or $650 Canadian for the entry-level model, and $1,000 US or $1,000 Canadian for the most expensive one. So with the specs out of the way, it's time to talk about the experience. First is the initial setup, and that's easy. You just sign into your Steam account and then you're granted access to the Steam store and your library of games. Now, I have a few games in my library, and one of them happens to be the new Doom, but unfortunately you can't install it on the Steam Machine since it doesn't support SteamOS. I had to stream it from my Windows PC that also has Steam installed. Now, the streaming experience was good, it ran smooth, but you could notice some latency. For single player, it's fine, but I definitely wouldn't stream games in multiplayer mode. But what really ruined the experience for me was the actual controller. This is one of the worst controllers I've ever used. It feels like a really bad Xbox controller. The right pad is very inaccurate and made it quite difficult to move my character around. Thankfully, you can use an actual Xbox controller or hook up a keyboard instead. However, if you do the latter, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of having it in your living room. The second game I tried was Shadows of Mordor, and that can be installed locally. The game ran fast and fluid, and I probably averaged 60 frames per second with settings set to high at 1080p. Now, the only problem I had was that the character shapes were missing, and I couldn't see who I was fighting, which led to a very unique gaming experience. Last, I played Team Fortress, a classic that's not too graphically demanding. The controller had issues getting me through the main menu, but once I was in game, everything worked fine. It ran fast and fluid as it should for an older title, but I found the best experience to be with a keyboard. In all fairness, Steam notifies you whether or not a game is designed to work with a controller. If it doesn't work, Steam modifies the configurations to make it compatible. Depending on the game, I found this to be hit or miss. At that point, I decided to dig around SteamOS and see what other features it offers. It has a web browser in case you want to surf the net, but it doesn't offer any apps like Netflix, YouTube, or Plex. It has its own movie section with a few recognizable titles, but the majority of stuff on there I've never even heard of. Okay, so I think you know where I'm going with this. The Steam Machine is small, portable, and light, but it doesn't offer anything compelling. You're stuck to a very limited amount of games that are compatible with SteamOS, and if you want to play a game that isn't, it needs to be streamed from a Windows PC. There's no apps like Netflix, Hulu, or YouTube, and the controller offers a poor experience. The bottom line is I don't see any value buying an Alienware Steam Machine over the Alienware Alpha. At least with the Windows version, you have a full desktop PC that is compatible with Steam's entire library and access to popular applications. Also, the price point of the entry-level Steam Machine model is more expensive than a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, which I feel offer a lot more value. So that wraps up my review of Alienware Steam Machine. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. And if you have one already, let me know what you like or dislike about it. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.